What is going on, y'all? Right back at you with another exercise video. This one is going to be day 5 in the series. Remember, we had an off day, so this is day 5, counting the off day as one of those days. But today we're doing heavy. Let me just write day 5 first. Don't confuse anybody. We're doing heavy triceps, tries, and hypertrophy chest. Now, you do kind of incorporate some triceps when you're working chest, and you kind of incorporate some chest when you're working triceps because they're both pressing movements, so that's something that happens just by default. Obviously, the more control you have over the movement, the more isolated it is toward the targeted muscle group. But I like pairing these two together, especially if one's offset as a heavy day and one's offset as a hypertrophy day, because I'm getting a lot of stimulation in both complementary muscle groups, and I just feel like I'm growing and getting a great pump when I train these two together. So we're doing rope pull downs. So exercise 1 is a rope tricep extension or pull down, or however you want to call it. But basically, that is just simply the ropes going down. You can do the same thing with just like a fixed bar attachment. And this is like, we're going heavy on triceps, but I do kind of go a little bit lighter on this to start. And on this first exercise, I like to really loosen up my joints, my elbows, and really get the muscles warmed up before I start going heavy. So on this exercise, unlike most other heavy muscle groups, this one I have more of a pyramid scheme with this specific exercise. So I do 15, 12, 10, 8 on this rep range, and then I get progressively heavier with each set. So my first set is 15 reps and it's a little bit lighter, and I'm able to kind of warm up. Each set I warm up again, and then I just get progressively warmed up before I go into my next exercise, which is close grip, tricep press. I use a barbell on this one. And again, you're gonna be using some chest. Even though this is predominantly a tricep movement, you're gonna be using some chest with this being a pressing movement. But I like going heavy on this. You get a lot of growth from a close grip tricep bench press. I used to make the mistake of like going so close that my hands would literally touch on the bar. That's not necessary. Lift with your eyes closed for a few sets. Feel the muscles work. Feel at what rep or at what distance your hands need to be spread apart to really stimulate and maximize the tricep contraction. So try that. And on this one, this is similar to like the heavier compound movements I do with like squats, deadlifts, overhead press. I tend to do a few more sets than just the 4. So I'll go up progressively heavier with each set. I might do a burnout set at the end. Like today, actually, this is what I trained today. And I did 6 sets of this. So I pyramided up to 225 pounds. So you can just notate that as 1 to whatever. For me, it was 6 sets. So the next one I like to do is a cable kickback. And you can do it with a dumbbell as well, but I like the cable simply because I get a really good contraction. And kickbacks, as well as the next exercise we're gonna be doing, which is the skull crusher, they both really stimulate all 3 heads of the tricep. They stimulate the long head, all 3 heads of triceps. You're gonna get a lot more growth from like a kickback and from a skull crusher because you're forcing the tricep basically back, so you're getting a full stretch and range of motion. The cable kickbacks, I tend to do a little bit more, not crazy heavy on the kickback because you don't wanna start just rocking the movement. So with the cable kickbacks, I tend to do 4 sets, and I just do 20 pounds on the cables, 20 or 30 pounds on the cables, and I'm doing 8 to 10 reps on those. All right. Now the 4th exercise is those dumbbell skull crushers I was telling you about. So dumbbell skull crusher. And the main thing with this one is just to focus on actually getting that full range of motion. You don't want to just have your elbows bent and then do like that because it's more of a pullover. So you want to make sure you're actually contracting and moving your triceps, working all 3 of those tricep heads. This one I tend to go I normally do 4 or 5 sets on this one, and about the 8 rep range. I'm able to hit like 10 or 12 reps on that last set. I need to bump the weight up. So this is typically 1 to about 5 sets. All right, and then I do one more tricep exercise, and that is body weight dips. I have to start writing my chest over here. Body weight dips, but I superset dips with a chest exercise, because if you go more narrow on the dips and more upright position, you're gonna have more tricep stimulation. If you go a little bit wider and you lean forward, you're gonna stimulate more chest. I kind of do a cross between the both of those. That way I'm kind of already starting to warm up my chest before I start hitting hypertrophy chest. So I'll do about 4 sets of this, and I'm doing about 15 reps on the dips, because again, it's kind of simulating a warm up for chest, which is a hypertrophy day, and then I'm kind of still going heavy, but 15 reps of body weights on dips is not a light task by any means, especially me in the off season right now. And after that, I'm basically transitioning. So I'm supersetting that. I'm just gonna draw kind of a line here. I'm supersetting those dips with my first hypertrophy chest exercise, which is usually like a fly or a crossover. So we'll just say cable crossovers. And I am doing 15 reps on all of these, and I'm typically doing 4 sets. So 15 reps at 4 sets, and I get progressively heavier with each of these sets. Then I'll do dumbbell flies. And with dumbbell flies, I'm going, again, about 4 sets, getting progressively heavier, but I'm sticking within that 15 rep range. So pretty much all of these hypertrophy days, as I've mentioned before, they're right in the 15 reps, 4 set range. All right. And then let's see here, I've got incline dumbbell flies. Depending on how you're positioning your arm in the cable crossovers, it's gonna kind of dictate whether you're working more upper, central, or lower pec. So I tend to alternate the cable crossovers, and I have a decline chest press on chest day, heavy chest day. So I like to do an incline dumbbell press on the hypertrophy day. So incline, sorry if you can't read my handwriting, dumbbell, not press, but fly rather. I like to do a lot of flies on the hypertrophy day and a lot more presses on the heavy day for chest. And then the last, let me just go ahead and put my set and rep scheme in here. All right, and my last exercise for hypertrophy chest is a machine press. So I like to incorporate at least one pressing movement. Like I said, I did more flies, more cable crossovers on hypertrophy day, but I want to get at least one pressing movement in here. So I do a machine press, and by the end of this, I'm very fatigued, I'm sore, I'm tired. It's hard for me to get a full contraction. So I like to burn out with the machine press, and I'll normally just stick it at 100 pounds, which is quite easy on a heavy day. But at the end of this workout, doing 15 reps of each set, 100 pounds is pretty taxing. So 100 pounds, again, it's gonna be totally different for everybody. And then 1 to 4 sets, 15 reps each. And that concludes the heavy tricep day, hypertrophy chest day. We'll see you next time for, I believe we have back and biceps. Talk to you then.